instead of trying to go target the same stuff, how do you find the stuff that other people aren't hitting as hard, where you're not getting as much resistance up front? That's part of what that niche list thing is going to help you do. Talked about this a little bit last week. Like, we're in a time now where everybody's like, real estate's crazy right now, right? So this is a hot market. Everybody's making money. There's properties moving in some of these areas like crazy, you know, without a lot of time on market, stuff like that. That's fine. Like, if that's happening and there's more people operating in your market, then guess what? You have to be better. Like, this is the time where you have to figure out how to kind of shine through, how to step up. Some of it is the marketing pieces that we're talking about, right? And getting, you know, instead of Henry going really broad, like some of the bigger operations are going to do, because they're going to take the time to have all these conversations and nurture the leads and do all that. Instead of trying to go target the same stuff, how do you find the stuff that other people aren't hitting as hard, where you're not getting as much resistance up front? That's part of what that niche list thing is going to help you do. So, and you don't have to go stack it 6 ways over, guys. You just have to like think about the issues that you're running into, and then dance around a little bit. But I'd be trying to like run everything to the first contact. They say this, you're like, oh, okay. You know, again, the number, let me say, without knowing your exact flow in these text conversations, consider this, okay? Just put yourself like in the head of the seller for a second and think about the conversation that you're throwing at them, and think about the response you're getting, whether that's a real response or whether it's like they're just saying the easiest thing back to you, right? So they don't know who you are, like we talked about. You're probably reaching out and you're saying like, are you interested in some, you know, some kind of generic intro about like, are you open to selling your house? Yes, cool. If your next question is, what do you want for it? Like you're jumping to a point of the process that should be way, like, that's not the next question, really, is it? What do you think they're going to tell you? I know it's worth 300,000 to the market, but I'll sell it to you for 150. Like, of course not. So what's your process in the conversation you're having with them? I hate that next question being about the number, right? The number, like, you want to talk about the number on the phone, really, because now you can move the number. Now you can have a conversation, as long as you know that the debt situation allows them to move on the number, right? So that's a filter that you're doing, making sure that they don't have a brand new mortgage or a mortgage they pulled in the last couple of years where they couldn't even sell it to you at a discount, right? That you need to eliminate, because there's just no possibility there for that to work. And in some of your markets, it may work, right? Because you may, if they had one 2 or 3 years ago, you may be seeing the appreciation now to where you can move on kind of that stuff, but not for really what Henry is kind of talking about here, right? So that you eliminate with the filtering in the list, right? The only other reason is for that number is, and again, it follows the mortgage, is they bought it recently at a number and they can't move it for that, right? So because they're trying to profit on it for whatever reason. So you can eliminate some of these things. And now, instead of the number being the next question, what happens if the next question is like, okay, great. Let me ask you something. Have you done any work to the house in the last 10 years? Here's what happens, guys. And let me know if this makes sense, if you're following, right? There's a reason that that's a better next question. Do you guys do this? What kind of conversations are you having right now? Like in these texting campaigns and this stuff, whether it's VAs or you doing it, how are those conversations going? Like what's the progression of the conversation? Oh, so you're texting them too. Good, Jermaine. That's awesome. Okay, this is a great, Jermaine, I'm going to come back to you on that right there, because you've got a great little process there that's going to highlight some of this stuff. So, Henry, are you following me? Does that make sense? What's the text conversation that these guys are having? So don't jump straight to the number, because of course, if you're like, you have nothing to go back on at that point, right? Because if they say, no, I haven't done any work in the last 10 years, but the number they're saying is the highest comp in the market, then it's like, okay, well, that's a pretty easy one to now have a conversation. And now what you're doing is figuring out like, okay, are they actually interested in selling? Or are they just saying a number just to say a number, right? How do you figure that out? You explain to them exactly that. Well, based on the number you're asking, like the highest comp, the thing, this one sold down the street for that amount and everything's brand new in this house. You told me you haven't done anything in the last 10 years. when did you buy it? What, 20 years ago? So have you done anything in 20 years? No, not at all. Oh yeah, we replaced carpet. You get lots of different answers. We replaced the carpet. We painted the walls. Like, that's not the stuff we're talking about, right? We're really trying to figure out immediately, like, did a whole bunch of money go into this house in the last 5 years? That's really kind of what it is.